Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of That's What They Said. Uh, Today, I'm going live with Pawan Shahri. Pawan Shahri is a restaurateur. I will be expecting more people to join in the next few minutes, and I believe that we'll have more people coming in. Welcome to some of the people who've already joined. Today we're going to be having Pawan Cherry, who is a restaurateur. He'll be talking, to us about, what he does, how he does what he does, and what else is happening. I know I'm competing with Ravi Chandran, Ashwin, and Virat Kohli, who are going live exactly right now. So if you get bored of their comments, please do come here. I know it's a tough thing to actually do, but then I don't think, I've got some really good stuff actually planned with Pawan. Pawan, if I can just introduce Pawan as well, he's been somebody who has been in the restauranting industry for since he was 16. Since we were just in junior college, Pawan started his business. Today he runs about 4 to 5 different companies. Quite a few different companies does Pawan run, and I believe that's going to be something that is very interesting for all of us, especially with COVID-19. We don't know what's going to be coming. Hi Zenam, welcome. I hope everyone is doing well wherever you are. I don't think he's from JML, but I believe that I can still ask him his question. And Pawan's joined. I believe that he'll be sending us a request right now already, and I have a bunch of questions that I have planned for Pawan, and I believe it's going to be a great time that we will spend together for the next 40 odd minutes. Just to reiterate, I know I am competing my time slot of 6 p.m. with Virat Kohli and Ravi Chandran Ashwin, who are also live. But who's Virat Kohli? It's all right. I think we'll have a better conversation. Accepted Pawan's request, and I believe we'll be able to go live in the next few minutes. I've been really kicked about this particular live, so I hope that we've got a lot of things. Hi Pawan, welcome.
Hey Sharang, how are you?
Very well. How are you? How all your videos over the last couple of weeks have been with your cap on. Are you not being able to get a haircut done?
That is exactly why. I think once the lockdown in the first place I'm going to is going to be a salon.
I think all of us are going to enter.
Yeah.
So I have done not a bad job with some YouTube tutorials, but I believe it should be, it might have worked already.
Yeah, I'm sure like everybody has come up with home jugards. And the thing with me is I'm not a cap person, right? So this is the only cap I have at home. So let it be my live videos on Instagram or anything. I just have like one cap. So yeah.
Fantastic. Pawan, I'm going to take this opportunity to just give a brief introduction about you. Pawan has been in the restauranting hospitality industry since he was 16. I'm going to reiterate, since he was 16. Like, you're not old enough to get into a club, but he already had his business up and running since then. Maybe he did fine. I'm going to ask him about what all he does today. He owns and he's managing director at some of the places that you and I really enjoy going to on weekends. And now we can't. We have a lot of questions in store. Pawan is also known to be an accidental entrepreneur. So I'm going to ask him about how he reached where he reached when we talk about his journey. To pick the minds of entrepreneurs as well, and I think the next 30 to 40 minutes will be quite exciting. There's a lot of us that things that we can learn as well. So welcome, Pawan. Thanks so much for doing this. How does it feel being on another Insta Live?
So the thing is that when the lockdown started, I decided that I'm going to do a lot of things that I'm generally uncomfortable with, and being in front of the camera was definitely one of them. So when we started this, I was actively working with the NRI Youth Committee, and that was one time I just had a random thought that this would be a great idea to get the community together to sort of go with it. And a lot of my colleagues pushed me to host the first session, and I had no idea how that worked. It started off, and then we did about some 31 episodes of the Instagram Live with some of the most prominent restaurants from across the country. And yeah, since then, I think it's just been going on. I've done a couple of podcasts post that. But yeah, I think throughout this lockdown, this is definitely one thing that I'm more confident of now is being in front of the camera.
So I think
And except for that, it feels great to be here. We know each other for so many years now. So, and I know a lot of people from our college back then are also going to sign up, be online now. So that's great.
No, absolutely. And, we've seen some comments also come in here where people are talking about your restaurants and about what you do. So let me just, go right to it, Pawan. Can you tell us, firstly, what do you do today? As of today, how do you run? Just a couple of lines on what those businesses are specializing in, what kind of restaurant brands that you also run as of today.
So there are three primary businesses that I have. One hospitality is the business that takes away most, the major chunk, which that's the company that owns and runs and manages the restaurant. One hospitality takes care of our restaurants like Butterfly High and BKC. We're opening our second outlet in Rajasthan. In fact, it was just about to open and then the lockdown happened. Except for that, we've got London Taxi at Kamla Mills and Khar, and we have the big small cafe and bar at Sakinaka. So the idea was that this year we want to take it from 5 restaurants to 12 restaurants, but I think that plan is going to get a little delayed now. But yeah, so that is what one hospitality does. Secondly, there is Chromatia, which is mainly into branding, marketing, and events. So with Chrome, we work with some of the biggest companies across lifestyle, fashion, and food and beverage, and we create IPs for them. And Label is the third part. Label is an artist management agency, and we get a lot of different international acts from across the world down to India for gigs. And we curate some guest events which are more on the exclusive side. So that is what Label does.
Fantastic. People often talk about how at 26, you're 25 or 26 right now?
26.
26. How at 26 you've been successfully running so many businesses, successfully taking care of so many restaurants. How did it all start? Where did you get your motivation from? How did it all begin?
I think it was more about, for me in specific, it was more about just having a particular lifestyle of sort. I still remember right after school when we got into college and HR, that's how we know each other. So that time, right after school, we had that social trend of going to clubs, etc. And a lot of times we didn't get free. So I still remember being stopped outside a club one time, and I just thought to myself that I need to figure this out. Like
Hmm.
this can't be the rest of my college life. So yeah, I started working with some club promoters back then. We used to get paid 100 rupees for every couple that got in that time, and that's how it started off. From getting my friends and me into nightclubs, and eventually we started organizing socials where moreover like college socials, etc., where all of us, basically people under the age of under the legal drinking age, had a place to go out, meet, and socialize together.
All right. Pawan, you try to solve a problem for yourself and for your friends about how we didn't get entry into clubs. Pawan, but at the age of 16, we were not really taught about what social media is. We were not taught a lot about business. We're not taught about management. How did you marry business and management, concepts into starting a business of your own, even though you saw that there's a gap that you need to fill?
So honestly, I didn't even know I was sort of making a company or platform business for the first 5 years of my business. It was about me having a lot of fun, sorting myself out with anything and everything that I needed, and making some extra money at the same time.
Hmm.
Right. So this is that age between 16 to 2021 when majorly I was so that time the name of the company was Chrome Nightlife
Yeah.
to what it is Chrome Asia now. We expanded a lot and then started internationally as well after we got funded. But initially, yeah, so it used to be called Chrome Nightlife that time, and so it was all about sorting the problem that we had at that time, being in college, ensuring that we don't have to pay for bottles and the entry is quite smooth, and we are taken well care of when we go to clubs, and just ensuring that we have a good life. And then money was a byproduct of it. Becoming a business was always a byproduct.
Correct. So a lot of my friends, a lot of your friends also did not get entry into clubs, just like how it started off. But then
Right.
what did you have that the others might not have had to find that gap and to do about to go ahead and do in these things?
Uh, I don't feel that I have something that the other people don't. What I feel is that when you really want something, you figure a way to get it. Right? For me, at that point of time, that was important, and I sort of managed to figure a way out into it. And then I think other people who wanted the same thing managed to figure out a way to get to know me, to get that purpose sorted. Right? At that time when I started doing events, there was nobody in my age group doing something like this.
Correct.
So my first way of figuring it out was I could not get to know anybody, so I started doing it myself.
Sure, sure. So right now you run companies. I believe Chrome Asia is also quite big in terms of the kind
Right.
of that you need to do. One Hospitality, we all know, has so many good restaurants under its portfolio. Plus, you also do label events, which actually get the likes of Sean Kingston, etc.
Right.
Yeah. How do you manage this in 24 hours? How do you manage to split your time? How do you manage to prioritize? Plus, still have a personal life. I have not seen a Saturday night where you've been working. You've been at your respective bars or restaurants, enjoying life like all of us do. How do you manage to do all this?
So I just feel somewhere my work life overlaps with my personal life, and that's the great part. And my partners now are the same people who I met 10 years back in college, and we started the companies together. So Chrome turns 10 in the coming April.
Wow.
Right. So, and it's been 10 years of just working with the same people. I just feel that the reason I'm able to do a lot more is because the team that is involved in the entire process is great. Right. And I think that is the strongest part that anybody needs to succeed. So let it be my credible, really, really credible partners. I definitely feel they get a lot more than me on board and ensure the companies work really well. They have separate skill sets that I might not be able to achieve or maybe not be as good as them at all. And then there are these great agencies and freelancers we work with who just contribute into the business, feeling like they own it. So this entire energy coming together just works really well. And obviously, leaving all of this aside, we work with I think some fantastic. Brands. In fact, one of the brands we work with, Live It Up, Arjun's on the chat right now, and he's constantly commenting. So the idea is we share so much energy and enthusiasm with each other, right, and just push each other. So it's just the community helping each other to grow better.
Sure, sure. And just to reiterate for the people who've just joined in, I'm in conversation with Pawan Shahri. Pawan Shahri is an entrepreneur at 26. He runs 3 companies. He runs 5 to 6 restaurant brands. He's the owner and managing director, along with his very able team, for London Taxi, for Butterfly High. These are big places in Mumbai that do well around the week, but especially do well and are packed on Friday nights and the Saturday nights. Pawan, we are missing Friday night, Saturday night. Today is the Saturday night. I would be getting ready to enjoy my Saturday night, but I'm going to be sitting at home, doing something else maybe. Restaurants, businesses have been hit, right?
Massively.
Firstly, how are you coping up with this? And then I want to talk to you about your new initiative. But first, I want to talk about how are you coping, personally with your whole set of restaurants that are not making any money right now.
So really uncertain times for all of us, right? I think all the industries are hit right now. We all have been home for I think more than over 2.5 months now. For some people even before that who took precautions earlier on.
Yeah.
And for us, although it started a little later, but we were the first industry to get hit. I think we've been seeing numbers dropping since Jan, since the time the worldwide news started spreading. So yeah, I think hospitality definitely is one of the most hit industries in Bombay and India right now, and I think even globally, we are suffering massively, and I think this is also going to go on till the time a vaccine completely comes out, because the entire idea of a restaurant or bar or cafe is not to practice social distancing, right? Which is and what's happening now is exactly contrary to that. So definitely our outlets are shut now. Over the time, we've conceptualized a lot of different ideas and solutions on how do we want to evolve and change and adapt in a way that we still sort of start generating revenues as soon as possible. We're coming up with a whole bunch of at-home experiences and food delivery options from a few of our brands, and we should start that in the coming week or maybe 10 days from now. So yeah, that is what we've been doing. But yeah, definitely revenues are hit massively, and at this point of time, us along with our entire teams are just waiting to sort of get going and start something maybe even small just to get the ball rolling and keep us more occupied.
Fantastic. Pawan, you've started something called Bro Eats. Bro Eats actually, has online food menus through WhatsApp. Can you just, talk us through, firstly, why you did this? And secondly, what does it do? How does it solve a consumer gap that is there right now?
Right. So, Sharang, interestingly, same story as working with nightclubs at 16. We're all as restaurateurs paying about 25 to 30% odd commission to aggregators which facilitate home deliveries right now. On top of that, for some of our brands and brands overall, they strong arm them into giving discounts on top of the commissions that they take. Right. So this takes away a good 30 to 35, sometimes around 40% of the total sale margin from restaurants, which is completely not sustainable. So all this while, some of the organizations and associations I've been working with, we've done campaigns, trying to educate the restaurateurs to not sort of give discounts or alternatively, not agree to the terms and conditions that the aggregators set. But at the same time, there was no one industry platform where everybody could call it as their own, which sort of is completely transparent when it comes to data. It gives you all the possible customer support you want, does not charge you commissions, and sort of does the entire looting bit. So this was the need of the hour. My brands needed it. All my friends who own restaurants, they needed it. And I got a great opportunity from a colleague of mine from the association I was working with to come on board with him. So he was actually conceptualizing this idea for his own brands. And then while we were working together, we had a great sync in energy. And we thought that why not take this through and make it a pan India platform and help everybody at the same time. So that is how the idea of Broeat came into picture. So having said that, Broeat is India's first ever WhatsApp-based home delivery platform. So it gives the end user an experience of exactly using an app, but without having to download one. It works via WhatsApp chatbot and via web link gives you the entire interface of how you use an app. It syncs with your location. It saves your card details. It's completely end-to-end encrypted and secured, and also understands customer behavior. So it saves your previous order details, etc. And at the same time, we're going to generate as many orders as possible for all the restaurants who come on board with us. At the same time, unlike the other 40% margins that they were shelling out earlier, we've got them down to 5 or 7%. And so this is something really disrupting in the industry right now. And I think it was just the need of the hour, and everybody, pretty much needed that to actually sustain at these times when home delivery is going to be one of the most priority businesses that all of us will be adapting into for the next couple of months.
Absolutely, and I see no doubt why that is a recipe for success, especially because of the cost advantage that all people that will be coming on board with. Pawan, you actually mentioned so many times in your last few, answers or in your last few things also that our energies really matched. We've been in sync, our energies match. What is it about you that people want to work about you? What is your attitude? What is your mantra? That you have in life as to how you can get so many people to work closely with you.
Hi, Mutlan. Thanks for coming online. So the thing that Charan, throughout my work life, right? I think most of the people who have the reason they've been my friends or even colleagues who eventually became really really good friends. Uh, One major reason for me being able to do business with anybody is to be able to think like them, for them to be able to think like me, right? And to look at the larger picture rather than just going back and forth about smaller things. And I just feel that that's helped me a lot in business. So I'm more of a people's person. I really need to gel with somebody and be very very comfortable with them. And for me, starting a business with anybody is as good as getting into a marriage with them, right? And to know that this is going to be long term, so you better pick your partner perfectly. So, and I'm a very energy driven person. So when I have fun with somebody and I know that person is equally involved and ready to dive into something that I am, then definitely I'd like to figure, something out to able to do. And that could be a business, that could just be a small initiative we take. It could be a charity organization, whatever. But when I really like people who think like me, I definitely want to figure out a way to do something with them.
Sure. Pawan, you were speaking about you started off back during college also. Um, when you thought about where you saw yourself, 10 years later, which is, let's say, 2020, for the lack of a better thing, where did you see yourself in 2020 when you had planned? How have things panned out? Did you expect to be where you are today?
Expected to be alive, so I'm happy here I am. But except for that, not really. Like as I said, it's a very day to day, week to week, month to month. What we want to do now, and we should be able to get there. No, significant things that we planned, or targets that we set. But the idea was just to have a lot of fun along the way. Try and do multiple different things. So, uh, and we've just been able to do that. And throughout, the journey, it's just been a lot of fun because we've never held on to a certain business practice or a certain thing saying that we will only do this and we won't. We've adapted, evolved along the way, and from where we started up to where we are right now, our businesses are into completely different services.
Sure. And let's talk about post-COVID. Let's assume things get back to normal very soon. What are your future growth plans? Are you going to concentrate on building people trust back to your London taxis kind of places, or are you looking at some more growth? What is next for you?
So it's actually a multi-folded thing. So definitely it's sustainability or profitability for all our businesses right now. We are going to ensure and work really hard to make sure that all of our brands come to a sustainability level. If they make profits, well and great, but at least we need to survive this entire storm through. Right? That is the most important part. So all our energies are going to be put into that. Except for that, we had a couple of brands that we were going to launch, which because of the lockdown were postponed. So after our initial setback is taken care of with our existing plans, we'll start focusing on opening the new restaurants, the project pipeline. And yeah, I think after that, there's a very, very dear project of mine called the Picnic Project, which we did late last year. So that is something that is very, very close to all of us. And we were looking at doing the second edition of that towards the end of this year, which obviously won't happen. So we're going to focus on that and that.
Fantastic. I think that things will certainly work out. Pawan, looking back at the last decade, where you said so many things about how you grew, what has been the best moment of your professional career so far? Which has been like the aha moment, saying that I'm so glad I have taken this up, and you got the best sleep that night, or something like that.
I think entrepreneurship as a journey is all about aha moments, right? And oh no moments. So tons and tons of both of them. I still remember when we just started hosting events at Freeway, and we weren't even confident that we'll be able to get in 650 to 700 people on a regular basis weekly. So yeah, a lot of times when I entered and I saw the place jam packed with no place to move, and the bar sales just soaring high, and there were tons of those aha moments that we never thought we could achieve. Similarly, recently, the picnic project, as I said, that was a project we all worked really, really hard for. And the second day, we had more than 4,000 people over there at one given point of time. So when I entered again the place, because I was running around, we had two different sections, and when I came in and saw the people just in their own vibe, jamming with the music, having a couple of beers at the best possible weekend that there was at that time in Mumbai. Yeah, the satisfaction was immense.
Fantastic. That there's a question that was lingering in my mind when all of us really like to go out and like to try different cuisines, like to try different kinds of beers, etc. When you came up with London Taxi, then you have Butterfly High, which is at BKC. You also do the one that's at Car, that is the Mexican Spanish place, Oi Kitchen, OI Kitchen.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. What is the thought process that goes into your mind when you talk about, let's say, like a British setup in London Taxi and then a Spanish slash Latin American? Because I remember when I was there was only Spanish music playing, for which I'm a big fan of. So how did you come up with the themes? Do you see gaps in the market saying that, you know what, I think there is Indians, Bombay people who will really like Spanish culture, or well, not Spanish, Mexican culture of sorts. How do you plan to create restaurant experiences like that?
So, first of all, there's a lot of research that goes into the entire bit on understanding consumer behavior. What would people want? How would they react to a particular place? And there have been successes, there have been failures, and why all of them we keep recording things that we felt that people really like and people will really come back for, right? So that is one. And second thing, while we travel, we experience a lot of different things, and
Yeah,
we feel that certain things would work really well if we got them back home. So yeah, I think it's just combination of all of these things coming together, and then obviously getting great input from our chefs and our GMs, and doing various food and cocktail tasting sessions with our friends to understand what they like and how they behave into a particular thing, and then keep reinventing, keep growing more, keep perfecting it to as much as it's possible.
sure. I believe you have been an entrepreneur for the best part of your career so far. Has higher education crossed your mind? Do you think you need to study further? Is there a scope for that?
So I feel that, and this is actually contrary to what a lot of my closest friends do, right? Some of my closest friends have been pursuing MBAs and work really well. But for me, I think from school, I've been a very average student. I'm happy with getting 65, 70, and passing through college with that. Most of my friends also, who are pursuing a lot and pursuing future education and learning a lot, even they're equally successful. So I just feel that everybody has to start out their own way. I don't
Sure,
see a lot of education for me in specific. What I want to do is more than education, I want to evolve and grow when it comes to learning. Right. So I definitely want to learn more about my industry. I want to learn more about the food science behind everything that we serve. I want to learn more about becoming a better entrepreneur. I would call that somewhere maybe into specialized education, but not by the month. That is not my style of growing and adapting to things, and at least that doesn't work for me.
sure. Okay, fantastic. Pawan, you were an entrepreneur from the time of college, and you've grown so much since then. If you could give a piece of advice to people who are in college on what steps they must take, or if you could give a piece of advice to somebody who is working in a corporate job, has an inclination towards starting their business, has a good idea, but still doesn't have that confidence or that zeal to actually take that plunge, what is the advice you would give people in college or for working professionals who want to start their own businesses like you have?
So, interestingly, a couple of years back, this is the exact question that was on my mind, and it was a very different way of how I started my business journey. Just jumping into something. So, I actually started this entire program called the Slang Session, and started hosting them in multiple colleges, where I would take a batch of about anywhere between 80 to 100 students and speak to them about how I started and speak to them in a language that we understand. So
Yeah,
throughout when I was in college, I wanted to be spoken to in a language that I understood, not the way the teacher spoke to us.
100%.
So this is what I started, and throughout, I think the entire learning from that was only one: that number one, jump into it. Don't overthink. Don't plan too much. There is nothing called a perfect business plan. There is nothing called a success model, and there is nothing called a recipe to success. Right? You have to figure it out on the way.
That's true.
and that is the only way it works. Nobody, no billionaire can tell you do these five things and you will be a billionaire. It doesn't work that way. And at the same time, if you don't fall those million times while your journey, you're not going to grow.
That's true.
And there are tons of time when our events have gone empty, our restaurants have shut down, and we've lost a lot of money. We've lost our investors a lot of money, and at the same time, we've gained it back. And we've done everything possible to ensure that we get back from that scenario. So that is what matters more. So anybody who's in college right now, first of all, I would say rather than doing internships, would pay you $5,000 and try and tell you that I'm teaching you a lot while making you do Gada Mazduri. That's the word that I use. Leave that. Don't do bookkeeping for them. Try starting your own business. Hustle your way out. If you make $1,000 at the end of the month because of your effort, that is a lot more in terms of direct learning than you making $5,000 at a corporate company.
Absolutely.
Right. Also, even if you want to work with some experience, work with smaller companies. Don't work with big corporate giants. You need to work with owners who inspire you. Working with corporate companies where the owner does not even know your name will never help you benefit because your aim in life is to become the owner who currently you can't speak to. And the person you might be working under might not be the best educator,
Sure.
right? So that would be some sort of a vision to drive them through. If you're working in a corporate organization right now and you want to start your own business, there is never a better time. Just understand one thing. When I started off, I didn't have any expenses on my head. As you all know, I was 16 when I started off. So obviously, I had my family taking care of everything back at home. So I didn't have the pressure on my head. But the first 3 years are the worst for
Yeah.
any business, right? You have to sustain through those 3 years, and it's a guarantee that after 3 years, if you stick by, you will be successful. But provided you stick by in those 3 years, if you change your business entirely 10 times, you're going to start from scratch again. So, if you're planning to start a business, just be a little bit sure about what you're starting before diving into it. But diving into it is the only way to go through it.
Sure. No, I think it's a fantastic piece of advice. I'm going to cut the last, last 90 seconds to the last 2 minutes that you've spoken about and actually put it on media because that's a fantastic piece of advice you've given. Thank you so much, Pawan, for that. But before, we close this session, Pawan, I have got some rapid fire questions to you. For you, and I'm going to move away from the business side of things, and let's try and also have some fun, and let's try and have people to know you a little better because I believe there is more about that people should know about because end of the day they're getting into business with the person and not only Chrome Asia or one hospital. If you had to write a book about yourself, what would its title be?
A zero investment business.
Business. Okay. What is the one thing that you find true that the other people don't agree with?
Something that I find true that the other people don't agree with.
Yeah.
Go for fact more than fiction.
Go for fact more than
Fiction.
Oh, fact more than fiction. Fair enough. I do understand where that's coming from. Pawan, what were your goals when you wanted? What were your goals as a kid when you wanted to grow up? What did you want to be?
I wanted to own everything possible and maybe world domination.
Okay, fair enough. What has been the most satisfying moment of your career so far?
That one time when my parents told me we still don't understand what you do every day, but till the time you're making money, we're happy. And I was like, okay, we're somewhere on the right track.
Fine, fantastic. That's a very good way to put it. What is the one brand that defines you?
What is the one brand that
Defines you?
a brand?
Yeah.
Um, I would want to say home. I think that is something I don't want to take a global brand's name, which I don't feel. Chrome is a brand that I started. It is my first own brand, which I have, taken care of like a baby for the last 10 years. And I just feel to a massive level, it's synonymous to my name. So a lot of people still have Pawan Chrome saved on their phone. From nightlife to social media to PR and now to restaurants is what it is. So yeah, it's definitely one of the brands that is closest to me and that defines.
Fantastic, superb. Who's your biggest inspiration, Pawan?
Tons of them, but definitely my dad to start off with.
Okay. Does he now know what you do?
Dad knows more than mom. He although completely doesn't understand what I do, but he definitely knows more than mom.
Fair enough. As long as you're not dealing in drugs, I think all parents are happy with what
Yeah,
they're doing.
yeah, yeah.
That's fine.
Or
Pawan, what
sometimes they have suspected.
they have? I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
but
No, because we've been coming back home at 5 o'clock in the morning. When they're awake, we are just finishing our party. So
exactly.
so
So a
I
lot of times to avoid myself from getting scrambled, I used to take a lot of nice, freshly baked breakfast from A1 Bakery and different places. Eat them so nicely in the morning so they wouldn't tell me anything. But yeah,
no, I do understand that. Okay, Pawan, what's the first emotion that comes to your mind when I say the following words? Okay, I think this is our last set of questions. What's the first emotion that comes to mind when I say lockdown?
it's a phase.
Okay, Chrome,
Love,
London taxi.
superior,
Okay, butterfly high,
comfort,
label talent,
friends,
one hospitality.
partners.
Okay, Kai kitchen,
Pardon me?
Oi kitchen. Sorry, I said Kai kitchen. Oi kitchen.
Dream.
Dream.
I
Okay.
know these are not emotions, but just the first word.
Oh no,
Uh,
absolutely. That makes
striking.
a lot of sense. Okay, first thing that comes to mind when I say co-founders or partners.
Long term.
Okay. First thing that comes to mind when I say restaurants in India.
The
Future
only
of
thing I know.
India. Future of
Future
restaurants.
of restaurants in India, me.
That's a fantastic way to put it. And finally, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say Sharan?
Daimare.
Uh,
I don't have any other friend whose name is Sharang. So when somebody says Sharang, it has to be you.
Fantastic. Great. Great. I believe, Pawan, we have answered a lot of questions today. We've got deeper insights into you and your journey as an entrepreneur. There have been a lot of questions from one particular person who wanted to ask about how much money you might have made uh, at the RCHR prom night. So maybe you can take that offline. I believe it was a great time for all of us. And I believe you have changed the life of a lot of people, obviously including yours. You've given people like me a chance to enjoy, spending Monday to Friday and then just go and let ourselves loose because of people like you who have uh, have started these wonderful places all across the city. So we have a lot that we owe to you, and I hope that there is best, great stuff coming up from you as well. We've been waiting personally out of all the places that I've been to. I like it the most, maybe because I like my Spanish influence and my Mexican food and the influence, but I think that was a fantastic place as well. So thank you so much. We have everybody listening and watching whenever they are on doing this for us, and more power to you, Pawan. And I hope that you had a good time in the last 40 odd minutes where we've been speaking about your journey.
It was great. It's always great speaking to you. Thank you so much for having me. And Sharon, you're doing a great job hosting these. In fact, I saw the last couple of them. I'm so happy that everybody back in college with us is doing so well and doing so many different things and, impacting the world in their own way. And just a lot of power to everyone.
Thank you. Thanks so much for joining us, Pawan. We will hope that everything comes back to normal and we start going out and we bump into each other once again on some of the weekends.
We'll celebrate big time at one of my bars once the lockdown ends.
Absolutely. Can't wait for that. Thanks so much, Pawan.
Take care,
Goodbye.
Sharon. Bye.
Bye. All right, that was Pawan Shahri, and we finished another episode. In fact, we finished the penultimate episode of the first season of That's What They Said. Wow, I have been not been excited for so long for the last so many days as well. Tomorrow we are having our last episode of the first season of That's What They Said. We're having Romita Suptankar. She is working for Amazon Music back in the US, and she's been my friend back from college days. I believe it's going to be a one hell of a session tomorrow as well. Join me in talking to a really good friend of mine, Romita, for the last decade of sorts, or even more than a decade, in fact. And we're going to have a good time tomorrow before we round off. Before I go, I just want to get some more feedback that you guys have about this webisode series that I'm doing, because I'm going to start season 2 very soon. In fact, just the following weekend, I'm going to be starting this. Shashank, tomorrow Ramada is going to be happening at, I think, 9 p.m. Yes, I think it's 9 p.m. Next season it is coming up in June, and from the first weekend of June. And I believe I need more feedback from you guys as to what I can expect. I want to take this opportunity to give a shout out to one of my close friends, Ronak Gidwani. I think he's helped me with the creatives. He's helped me with ideas. He's been giving me suggestions every single day. So thanks so much, Sharan. Thanks so much, Sharan. No, sorry. Thanks so much, Ronak, for doing this. Major big shout out for you. If you have feedback, please do share for it, and I believe it will be great stuff that will be coming up sometime soon. Thanks so much for your time, and have a nice rest of the weekend. I will see you tomorrow at 9 p.m.